A genetically modified Grenier is hunting you, Tenno, incredibly resistant to your attacks, and carrying heavy weaponry. If you can bring this relentless attacker down, you can claim his weaponry for yourself, or, if you so choose to, travel down a much more lucrative path, earning yourself a fat pouch full of platinum. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vault Zero. Today we're going to be discussing Kuva Liches and the rich opportunity they represent when it comes to making platinum. Kuva Liches, for those players newer to the game, are in essence Warframe's version of the Shadow of War Nemesis system, in which after defeating the Kuva larvaling, you'll be given the option to spawn an elite Grenier soldier that will hunt you across the stars, capturing planetary nodes and stealing the resources in those nodes until you defeat them. Kuva Liches can fetch you anywhere from 50 on the very, very low side if you're super unlucky, to up until 500 or 600 platinum easy. Before we can talk about their value, however, we must talk about how to summon and defeat your Lich. Warframe is not a very new player-friendly game. They try. They really do. To their credit, they overhauled the new player experience, the opening mission, and the initial string of missions. However, that still doesn't really help new players, so I'm going to attempt to give a loose guide on how to summon your own Kuva Lich. First and foremost, you're going to wanted to defeat the War Within questline. This is a really fun questline where you learn more about yourself, the Orokin creators, as well as you'll learn a little bit about Teshin and his relationship to the Orokin. Step number 2, you're going to want to find a Kuva larvaling. These can spawn in any non-submersible Grenier mission, level 20 and up, after you beat the War Within. The caveat to this is you need to summon a larvaling. You're going to need to kill at least 10 enemies in under a minute. This number is going to be amplified by the number of players in your squad. So it may double. You may need 20 kills in under a minute, 30 kills, 40 kills, depending on how many players are in your squad. Step number 3, you're going to need to mercy kill with your paras on the larvaling, and then it will then prompt you to decide if you want to actually kill the larvaling. You'll be shown above its head what weapon it will wield. If you're not interested in that particular weaponry, you can choose not to execute the Lich. Just leave them sitting there, finish the objective of the mission, and load into another Grenier mission after that. Rinse and repeat until you find a larvaling wielding a weapon that you're interested in. And this is going to be important because based on the changing meta, the better weapon that you have for that meta, the more your Lich is going to sell for. It's also important to note that the element of the weapon, as well as the resistances of the Lich, will be dependent on the element of the frame that they're defeated with. Feel free to pause the video here to take a look at this chart, breaking down the nitty-gritty of the larvaling elements. The frame you choose to kill the larvaling with will become known as the progenitor frame, otherwise kind of like the father figure. It's going to be the template for the Lich, if you will. Moving on from step 4, you're going to need what is known as Requiem mods, and these are going to be needed in a specific order to defeat your Lich. To discover what mods you need and what order you will need to complete them in, you need to do missions inside of the Lich's territory, defeating Lich murmurs along the way, and they'll be highlighted red. Eventually, after you complete enough of the Lich murmurs, there will be a little gauge that fills up, and then once that gauge is filled, it will reveal a mod. After that, you will have to do trial and error after you get the 3 mods revealed about what is the correct order. It is important to note that each time you guess incorrectly on the Lich, because he will show up randomly during your missions inside his territory, each failed guess will result in the Lich becoming more powerful and taking over a new planet, similar to how in Shadow of War a small-time soldier may kill you and then level up and take place of a higher-ranking soldier. It's a very cool system. I'm glad to see it implemented here, and I'm super excited for the new infested Liches that will be coming very soon. Alright, moving on from there, what you're going to need to get the mods themselves is you're going to need Requiem relics. And what you see me fighting here is a Kuva Siphon. What you need to do, since Warframe does not really explain it, Kuva Siphons can be found in the Kuva Fortress, Kuva Siphon missions, as well as Kuva Floods. They can be found under the Alert tab. Once you are in the mission, follow the objective until you are prompted that a Kuva siphon has spawned. It will look like a black mechanical octopus of sorts, but it will only have 4 tendrils, or what they call braids in the game. Destroying the siphon is a bit tricky, maybe for me, because I haven't played The War Within since launch, so it didn't come right back to me in this video how you destroy it. But what you will do is you will see one of the braids on the siphon raise and point in a direction. You're going to want to look in that direction, and what you'll see is a red and black Kuva cloud that will fly towards the siphon. You need to use your operator or drifter and use your amp. You can either use your amp or void sling through the cloud. It will destroy the cloud as well as the braid. This will need to be repeated 4 times in order for the siphon to be destroyed. After the siphon is destroyed, you have a 50-50 shot of getting either Kuva or a Requiem relic. Now, since you know what mods you're going to need, all you need to do now is take the relics into the fissures. They can be found under the fissures tab, and for your best chance, you're going to want to make the relics radiant if you can. These relics can be cracked open just like any other. Like I said, you just have to go to the fissure site under the fissure tab. Now, once you have all your mods, you have them in the correct order, you're going to have to draw out your Kuva Lich. This is done by doing a couple missions inside their territory, and then they will be drawn out. Then you'll fight them, stab them, then you'll be prompted to either eliminate them, which will reward you their weaponry, as well as some bonus XP and some materials, or you will be prompted to convert them. And this is where you can make your platinum, because people will pay to have them as their Railjack companions, or they may spawn with an ephemera, which when killed, you get the ephemera as well. Their value depends on 3 things. If they have an ephemera, their quirk, because sometimes they have wacky personalities that, like I said, people may want on the Railjacks, as well as their ephemera, which is a cosmetic item, kind of like an aura that will go around your Warframe. And I'll show you an example of that right now on screen that you can take a look at. These are really valuable, and they sell for a lot of platinum. Now, it is important to note that in order to trade the Kuva Liches, you do need the Crimson Branch built at the dojo. If you don't have one, perhaps go to someone who has a branch built in their dojo so that you can trade. Otherwise, you can't convert them, and when you defeat them, you may as well send their souls screaming back into the void. Now, this is where I'll put my disclaimer. Hunting and making profit off of the Liches is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is not something that you will be able to farm multiple times a day, multiple Liches a day, and net 1,500 platinum in a day. That's just not feasible. But what I am promising you is, if you take one down in a day, you're going to net yourself 400 or 500 platinum, most likely, depending on the weapon, if they have an ephemera, if they have a quirk. Unless you're just super unlucky, you're not going to walk away with less than a couple hundred platinum. Also, if you guys have made it this far and you're enjoying the content and if you learned anything, make sure to smash that like button and perhaps even sub to the channel. I post daily Warframe content. Additionally, something I forgot to mention to you guys is that Kuva Liches, their name isn't also a variable and how valuable they can be. There are a lot of players out there in the community that will gladly pay top platinum to buy a Kuva Lich with a funny looking name. Trust me, there are plenty out there who have more platinum than they know what to do with. When it comes to Railjack, they can be used as crewmen. They can't be modded or change their weaponry or anything like that. They also don't earn any competency points, so they're kind of limited on the roles they can do. But one big thing that they do have is a lot higher health than the average crewman. So if you want to put them as a specific role, they're going to be pretty good at that role. Especially, they're going to be probably best at defending your ship from borders. Overall, I think it's probably going to take you at least a couple hours to hunt down a Lich if you're extremely lucky, if everything goes right for you. I know I was extremely unlucky making this video. I hardly progressed anything, and that took me about an hour. But if you're extremely lucky and you get everything done quickly, you can go ahead and get either a powerful weapon on your side, because the Kuva weapons are mighty powerful, or you can go ahead and get a nice chunk of platinum in your pocket. Overall, this is, I think, a fun in-game. It's not quite in-game, but it is veering on the edge of in-game content. That's a good challenge for anyone looking to do it, and it's a really good way to make platinum. Albeit it's only Probably something you want to do once, twice a day, maybe. But it's a good way to make platinum, and like I said, a good challenge. But you guys, that is going to be all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the stars.